The Palestinian people have been struggling for 76 years. They have been experiencing refuge in the diaspora and awaiting a solution to the Palestinian problem. They have also been experiencing an entrenched, belligerent occupation since 1967, an occupation that has been emboldened by impunity, with lack of compliance with hundreds of United Nations resolutions, whether through the General Assembly or the Security Council. And today, that occupation has been violating the rights of the Palestinians in all facets of life for the last 60-some years. Today, what we are asking for as Palestinians is for justice to prevail. Because justice will allow for peace to be forged, and if peace is forged, then the whole area, not only the Palestinians, can live with peace and security. What we have witnessed as Palestinians in the last 16 months is something that is unconscionable, something that the human mind cannot grasp. We have experienced a genocidal war for 16 months continuously on our people in the Gaza Strip. That war has resulted in monumental destruction, whether in human lives or infrastructure. How can we recall a place where so many people, 180,000 Palestinians, being killed or injured in such a tiny area, in such a short time? There is no such thing in modern history, but it happened in Palestine, a place that has already been suffering for too long because of occupation. 1.9 million people have been displaced in the Gaza Strip, internally displaced. And these people have been displaced several times before throughout the wars, the Israeli wars waged on the Gaza Strip. This has not been their first displacement. They have been displaced at least 3-4 times. With everything that is happening on Gaza, you can just imagine what Gaza looks like today. Gaza is in ruins. Everything in Gaza has been destroyed. If you talk about the education structure, you talk about the healthcare system, you talk about the social structure and its institutions, you talk about the water pipes, you talk about electricity, you name it. Gaza is in shambles, but it has people in it. And today more than ever, we need to think of ways and means of helping these people steadfast in their own country, in their own place, in their own space, despite of all the destruction, because they have said it very clearly that they will not leave. They will not leave even if they have to live on the rubbles. Besides Gaza, we cannot shy away or ignore that the West Bank is also under intensifying attacks. For 5 weeks now, the West Bank has been brutally attacked. Camps in the northern West Bank of Jenin, Tubas, and Tulkarem have been attacked. Buildings leveled to the ground. About 50 people have been so far killed. We have a lot of people injured and 40,000+ people displaced. Again, these people are refugees. People in the camps of the occupied Palestinian West Bank were originally from what became Israel proper. So they are refugees within Palestine, and today they are again displaced within Palestine. These attacks are intensifying, and what we are being threatened with is the Gazaization of the West Bank, which means that people are afraid that the model that has been exercised on the Gaza Strip, the genocidal, atrocious, brutal attacks on the Gaza Strip, are transferred to the West Bank. If we look at Jerusalem, Jerusalem is not spared. There is not one day that Judaization measures are not implemented in Jerusalem, so that people are forced to leave and the city becomes a Jewish city, just like the Israelis aspire for. The prisoners, Palestinian prisoners, have increased by the day. And there are numerous reports that tell us about the conditions of the prisoners. And I think there were numerous pictures on social media, videos on social media that tell us exactly what the brutality against the prisoners has been. And again, all of this is against, or all of it is in violation of international law and international humanitarian law. And all of it has been taking place in front of the eyes of the international community, while some of it has been silenced and some of it has been talking tall and speaking truth to power. Our priority today as a Palestinian state, Palestinian authority, is to maintain the ceasefire. The ceasefire has to be maintained at any cost. We do not want to return to the situation of the genocidal war, because we know that the only thing that this war is resulting with is killing civilians and more civilians by the day. And we have seen enough of it. And we need to say enough is enough. So maintaining the ceasefire is of utmost importance, and supporting us in our relief efforts, the immediate efforts of the people who have been traumatized for 16 months and even before. These people, let's all remember that they were also under a brutal siege for 2 decades, almost 2 decades. So maintaining ceasefire and humanitarian assistance. However, the maintenance of the ceasefire and the humanitarian assistance does not deny the fact that what needs to accompany or be in parallel with this humanitarian assistance and the ceasefire is a genuine venture towards a political path that will bring us closer to what peace should look like in the Middle East, and eventually end of occupation and the liberation of Palestinians. We also need to continually hammer the world about UNRWA. UNRWA is irreplaceable, and there is no other institution, international or local, that can shoulder the responsibilities of UNRWA. And its work must be continued, and its support must be continued by the international community. Today, more than ever, the work of UNRWA is needed. If you can imagine Gaza with 60-65% of its population being refugees who were served by UNRWA, today's population in Gaza is 100% replaced people, refugees or displaced people in their own country and land. So we need to maintain the steadfastness of the people. If we want people to stay in the Gaza Strip, we need to maintain that steadfastness. Otherwise, it's easy to say Gaza is not a viable place, and we need to find these people places elsewhere that are more viable and help these people continue their lives. These people will not leave. So what we need to worry about today as Palestinians and the international community is ways and means of making Gaza viable with its people in Gaza. And this means immediate support so we can meet their immediate living needs in terms of food, water, educational services, healthcare services, and then all of this would be done with a vision of more of reconstruction and development. So today we need to raise our voices very high on opening the borders, on unimpeded humanitarian assistance. And we are working on various tracks. As a Palestinian state, we are working with the Global Alliance on the materialization of the two states that was spearheaded by Saudi Arabia, EU, and Norway. We are also looking forward to the peace conference, also co-sponsored by Saudi Arabia and France, and we are looking forward to the High Contracting Parties Conference. And as I said earlier, what we need today is for the international community, throughout all the events and the peace platforms, to open up the way to a genuine peace path, whereby there is obligation of the occupier state to comply with international law and start thinking as a state that is under the law, which means that just like any other normal state, to comply with international law and refrain from the violations it has been exercising for the past 7 decades. The military route is not a solution to the Palestinian issue. We've experienced a military route. We've seen what has happened in the last 16 months, and we know that that route does not bring us peace. What will bring us peace is a genuine peace process with a genuine intent to go into a peace process as per international legitimacy. And we also have the Arab Peace Initiative from 2002 that clearly says that all Arab and Islamic states will normalize with the State of Israel if peace is forged. We will continue to believe in that track. We will continue to believe in the two-state solution because that is, so far, the only viable solution. There are other solutions, but for those of us who think that the two-state solution is not viable, let them think very cautiously about the other solutions, because the other solutions are less viable than the two-state solution. We know that we will make it, and someday we will rise.